Welcome in. You are listening to Just an Average Podcast with your hosts, Jake and Casey. All right, a little bit different style today as far as the podcast goes. Those of you that are watching on YouTube are going to notice Casey is in a, what is it, you guys in a U-Haul right now? Big old U-Haul. It's gonna be kind of hard to hear them though. But we got Mason on. They're on their way back from Arizona. Boy, what a long trip. So we figured why not do a podcast, kind of pass the time a little bit. What's your what's your like coming back? You're coming all the way to Illinois. I'm assuming you're driving straight through, getting back here probably what, tonight or tomorrow? What's the plan?
Tomorrow, well, it's a 26. It took me 26 hours to get out here, driving straight through, just stopping for gas.
Wow.
And then, so that's what we're planning on doing on the way back. So with the time difference, we'll end up probably getting there around like noon, 1 o'clock-ish in Illinois.
Nice. All right, sweet. So
currently it is like 9 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, 9 o'clock. So it's 9 o'clock with there. We're recording this here. Obviously, it's 11:30 here in Illinois. But yeah, Mason, you spent those of you that don't know, Mason spent the last year soaking up the sun in Arizona. So obviously, we're just going to roast him with some questions here, and kind of see if he is going to get his card to come back in Illinois. Well, let's just go ahead and jump into it. And I realize, like I said, you guys got a long trip here. So first one for you, Mason, is what's one thing you immediately noticed that was different when you got to Arizona compared to obviously being in Illinois?
Definitely not a whole lot of green. That is for sure. It's almost like a scene out of Breaking Bad. It's just the area of Arizona that I lived in is like south central Arizona, so it's very deserty. There's mountains, but they're not green at all. There's some desert green shrubs. The biggest difference though is like besides obviously no corn and soybeans, and cows everywhere, is the heat. It's very different to where from what Illinois is. So I moved out here last summer. And so I think when we moved in, it was like 110 degrees out, but there's this time of year, there's no humidity. So, it's a very dry heat. It's like
really
you're sitting
dry.
dry heat. It's like you're sitting in an oven, basically.
Wow.
But I would definitely take the heat here over the heat in Illinois, just because in Illinois, the humidity, it's like as soon as you walk outside, it's like, all right, I need a shower. It's like, yeah.
So you probably didn't have to mow your yard at all out there, did you, Mason?
Oh no, my yard was rock. So a few, literally little rock.
I mean, that's a plus. You're not spending money on gas or a mower, so.
But you spend all your time spraying weeds. So you'd think, oh hey, it's so dry and there's no water out here that like things wouldn't grow, but like there's weeds everywhere. You have to constantly spray for weeds. So and then trimming bushes and stuff like that. I had to do that before he left. So
did you not have a mower? I thought you took a mower out there with you. Did you end up selling that?
No, I left.
Or did you not take a mower with you?
No, I did not. I left it with my mother. So it's waiting back for me in Illinois.
You got it waiting for you when you get back. Yeah. Oh man. All right, so let's go ahead and transition on really quick to the actual move to Arizona. What were your first impressions? Obviously, you said the heat and stuff like that. Anything else that kind of stood out to you when you got to Arizona?
Man, like I said, definitely just mostly the climate, and then like obviously like the landscape is just it's crazy how accustomed living your whole life in Illinois, how accustomed you get to everything being like so green with the yards, the trees. Cornfields, bean fields, stuff like that. But here is like everything just looks dead. Honestly, like I hate to be this way, but the best way to describe it, everything just looks like super dirty out here. Because there's like I said, it's just literally just dirt and sand and like weedy looking bushes and stuff like that. So there's nothing like the mountains are pretty, but it's just besides that, it's just straight. It's like a desert sandbox basically. So
yeah, I mean, obviously, it's probably a little bit of a challenge too, being away from family and friends too. Obviously
Oh
you're
yeah,
moving
for sure.
back. Not because you miss everybody, but I'm assuming that's a big factor though too. Coming back, I'm sure you're ready to see friends, family, and whatnot.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing is, the biggest reason for making the move is, to get back around friends and family. While I was um, younger, I always said that like, oh hey, if I ever have the opportunity to move out of Illinois, I'd move out of Illinois.
Yeah,
I didn't want to be older and look back and be like, well, if I was born in Illinois, I lived in Illinois my whole life, and then like, never no, never took a chance on something. So I took an opportunity with the job out here, and really loved my job, loved what I did, and the people I worked with. But like realizing like how much family and friends with us, having a support system, especially with having a young family.
yeah.
Um, it was going to be really, really important for us. We found it really important for us to kind of go back and um, back around friends or family. So we don't have any regrets coming out here by any means, because we can at least say that we gave it a try. But at least now we know that, hey, over anything, friends and family are the most important things to us, and so we're definitely going to value that a lot more. So
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, like I think everybody kind of thinks that though when they're younger, like I don't want to live in Illinois my whole life, and I know when I was in high school, I can't wait to graduate to get out of Illinois. Well, here I am, almost 15 years later, after graduating, and still here, still here. So
exactly, but
I don't have any.
there's nothing
I,
wrong with it though.
no, yeah, I don't think I really have any plans on leaving. Um, whether I want to admit it or not, this is home, and it's always going to be home. As much as
Yeah.
I might not like Illinois, I can't see myself leaving it. But where you talked about the climate out there, the lifestyle, the culture, a little bit probably slightly different. But the biggest thing, and I know this really applies to you, how is the food out there compared to all the food you get here in Illinois?
So me and I was kind of going through the questions the other day, and I was talking with Tristan about it. And so as far as food, I mean, you obviously, I mean, where I live, we're like maybe 45 minutes to an hour away from the Mexico border. So obviously, there's a lot of Hispanic people that live in Arizona, and so
Yeah,
there's just you're not good. There's no shortage of Mexican restaurants around here, but it's crazy how different Mexican restaurants are. In Illinois to here, obviously this is a little bit more authentic. Like, everyone goes and eats, Allen's special at Los Charros back home. There's no such thing as you can't even find one of those dishes um,
yeah,
at a Mexican restaurant here. They don't serve chips and cheese. It's just chips and salsa.
yeah.
Um, but so me and Trish were talking about it, like as far as like going out to eat on a nice like date night. I liked Arizona better because we would just drive up to the valley, to like Chandler, Scottsdale, um, Queen Creek, Gilbert area. So I had like some really nice like sit down like Italian steakhouses. So like for eating out, like for special occasions, I liked Arizona better. But as far as like, oh hey, just run in the mill, want to go out and grab a bite to eat, I like your local places. I liked my food back in Illinois a lot better. Like our local Chinese restaurant in Havana, um,
Yeah.
like Los Charros, or just stuff like that. So, or you can't beat, um, oh shoot, Shagos and
Oh yeah,
and
State
Astoria
Street.
for breakfast.
Yeah,
Breakfast.
yeah.
So I'm craving some State Street pancakes right now. So
Yeah, I mean, obviously, um, Arizona obviously being a bigger market for your sit down restaurants and whatnot. I'm sure the fine dining is top tier there. Probably a little bit more cashy as well, but
yeah,
it's all about the experience. I think. I'd probably do the same thing. Going out there. I'm a big foodie as well, so as many different restaurants. I'm sure you tried several different restaurants while you're out there, but that's
for
always
sure.
it's always fun, dude. Just trying to being in a different place, trying all the different foods, and like you said, having more authentic Mexican food was probably awesome as well.
Yeah, you definitely have to hit up all the little bitty food trucks.
Oh yeah,
Where I worked, we had a little bitty um, Mexican restaurant in the back of a Mexican convenience store, and man, they had some really like their street tacos were by far the best I've ever had. So
I'm just a little jealous, not extremely, just a little jealous. So, I mean, you're talking about, your job and stuff a little like that. What was your typical day like? What did that look like? I realize it gets hot in Arizona pretty quick. So, were you working like a 9 to 5? Were you working for like a 7 to 3? Like, what did your typical day look like?
So in the winter time for us, that's like that was my sales season. So that's when the temperatures are obviously fairly mild. Like it only gets like a high of, 65, 70 or something like that. And so that's when I'd work from like 7 to 3 or 7 to 4. But then like this time of year, like our busy season, it gets so hot. It's over 100 degrees by 10:30, and so
Jeez.
you go in and work at 4 o'clock in the morning, and then you're
Yeah.
off work by noon, noon, 1 o'clock, and you go home and you take a nap and reset and then go back and do it the next day. So like it's crazy here. There's just not a lot of people out and about in the summertime here, like after 10, 11 o'clock.
Couldn't imagine why.
Yeah.
So did you meet a lot of new people while you were there, or did you kind of? I mean, I realized you were really busy, so I don't know if you got out and made new friends while you were there, or if it was just kind of like didn't really have the time.
So that was like one of the biggest things with moving back and realizing like how much we miss like friends and family is, you know, everyone this, like in case knows this, like if you have a family, and you live around family and friends, like that's your support system. They say like it takes a
Yeah.
village to to raise a kid, and so when you're here and you don't know anybody, it's like, so me and Tristan didn't get to really go out on date nights anymore because it's like we really don't know anybody that we trust, to watch the kid, or it's like, I don't, no offense to some people, it's like I don't know anyone from here. Am I going to trust anyone with my 2-year-old son?
Yeah.
um and so that was the biggest thing, was like weren't really able to get out and do a whole lot, because of not having really anyone to watch Cohen. So like if we did anything, we all just went as a family. So we really didn't. Tristan made some friends when she went back to work at the hospital, um, south of Phoenix, and then um, I met and built some pretty good relationships with some of the guys I worked with that worked for me, and then some guys I did business with the chemical companies. So, but no, really didn't get to meet any friends. But it's funny. Tristan's like, "Oh, hey, we need to go out and meet people." I'm like, "I don't want to meet anybody." I'm like, I got my friends back home. Like
Yeah.
I've had the same friends forever. I'm like, I don't want to make any more friends. So
Yeah.
that's kind
Uh,
of on me as well. But
did you do any golfing while you were out there? I realized that there's a lot of golf courses out there. Probably really nice golf courses out there. I didn't know if you had a chance to hit up any of those or not in this past year.
so this is the funny thing. One of the things we talked about, like moving out, is like I'm pretty sure. I mean, I might be lying, but I'm pretty sure like Arizona is like almost like the golf capital of
Oh yeah.
maybe the U.S. Maybe not. I could be
When I was
completely
looking up
wrong.
questions, it all it came up was like golf. What's better,
Uh,
like the Illinois, Illinois hikes or Arizona golf, whatever. But yeah,
uh,
it's pretty hyped up out there.
yeah. So there's tons of golf courses everywhere. But like the crazy thing is, I was like so excited to golf out here, and I literally golfed one time being out here. But like I said, because we're busy
Wow.
with work, and so you don't really.
Yeah.
By the time when you're off work, like I said, it's 115 degrees out. Like no offense, I'm not gonna go golf when it's 115, 120 degrees out. And then
Yeah.
and then in the wintertime, it's like, okay, you want to spend time with with your family. It's like I'm not going to drag my wife and son out to a golf course because my wife doesn't golf, and we have a 2-year-old son, so it's not like, hey, let's grab Cohen and go make him sit in the golf court for 9 or 18 holes. So I definitely missed it, and I have some serious work to do on the golf game when I get back to Illinois. So.
Well, don't worry. You were gone for a year, and I didn't get any better, so you don't have much to worry about.
But yes,
What
the
is?
golf courses are vastly different out here
Oh
than
yeah, I
back
bet.
home. It's funny because you don't lose as many balls because, one, there's not a whole lot of water hazards here,
Yeah.
obviously in the desert. But then there's just a lot more sand. Like, so out of bounds back home, it's just like like woods. Like here it's just like desert, and so you can actually find your ball fairly easy. Just, yeah, you just gotta watch where you're going and make sure step on a snake or something like that. So
Yeah, I would not. I would not be game for that. I'm terrified of snakes the way it is. But what about eight? about 18 minutes into this podcast, and I feel terrible. I haven't even introduced. We got Casey and you, Mason, but we didn't introduce the dog. Mason, if you want to, you can introduce your dog here.
This is Maya Rose. She is an anxious little turd, refuses to lay down, so she'll probably be awake the entire time, the entire drive. So
Hey, yeah, she's got to make sure to get some needed camera time. So she's popping in, making sure she's getting her screen time. I love it. Absolutely love it.
she's
Uh,
living life right now.
yeah. What's one thing that you think Arizona does way better than Illinois? I know
Oh
that's
my
kind of a very
goodness,
broad
Ooh,
question.
man. Um, I would say, well, definitely from so like yeah, it's a very like gun friendly state. So like if you are into like
Oh yeah,
guns and like hunting and stuff like that, that is huge out here. Um, like that's definitely better. But I really like the sports scene out here. Um, because everything is indoor. So like you can go to like an Arizona like Diamondbacks
Diamondbacks,
game,
really? Yeah.
and you can go for super cheap, and it's in a dome and it's air conditioned. And like for some reason, like I said, no one really gets out much, even though it's inside. Like in the summertime, like you can go super cheap, have really good seats, and
That's
then
awesome.
same as like the like Arizona Cardinals. Like I'm obviously a lifelong Rams fan, and so I went and watched them last September, and it was 105 degrees out, but you're in this huge dome, and it was like you know 70 degrees in it, and so it's like wow, it was pretty neat enjoying a game inside of a dome, compared to like obviously that's fun, and it's um, obviously really enjoyable because the climate's perfect because it's controlled, but I'm trying to like compare it to like going to Arrowhead, when we went a handful of years ago where it snowed
All
a
the
foot.
out in the
So like
elements,
that's
yeah.
obviously it's just a completely like different experience, and um, but I definitely like they said the sports scene, like people love their sports teams out here. That's for sure. Very passionate, but
Yeah. So did you guys I mean obviously you got a long trip here. Did you guys bring any snacks with you at all to snack
oh
on
heck
on
yeah,
your trip back?
I've
Chomp,
Casey's never had
I got some
chomps before.
upstairs. I got some upstairs. I eat them all the time. They're delicious. Yeah. That's there you go. That's 300 calories and probably 45 grams of protein right there. So that's solid.
We got all sorts of drinks. Yep.
So what what you're saying is you did not take any smacking sunflower seeds. That's what I'm getting out of this conversation here.
I've never heard of them.
Well, hey, this is a perfect time for a quick ad break, and we'll let Mason know about smacking sunflower seeds. Smackin' Sunflower Seeds. Choose your flavor and enjoy some of the best seeds on the market. Smackin' goes above and beyond to make sure you have the perfect seed every single time. Enjoy their wide selection that they have to offer. Not sure what seeds to buy? Grab a variety pack and use code AVERAGE or scan our QR code for 10% off. And we're back. All right, so hopefully now Mason that he's heard about the smacking sunflower seeds, he can go give those a try. But obviously, coming back to Illinois, what are you most excited about? And this is probably a really easy question for you. What are you most excited about returning to Illinois?
Like I say, yeah, it's like I said, pretty easy. Like I said earlier, the biggest reason moving back was for friends and family. So that is definitely um, like obviously being around friends and family. But just the one thing I'm really excited about is like for all of us to, we all got married around the same time together. We all have started families, and um, so definitely looking forward to being back around everybody and letting our kids get to to grow up with one another and do that.
Yeah,
So, and like I said, we got your youngest son's birthday party coming up. So it's like it's not stuff I would have missed out on.
yeah,
Um, so definitely gonna be. I'm definitely excited to be back, and being available and being around for some of those special special events.
Oh, for sure. And I mean, you kind of answered my next question here of something you're going to appreciate more time, more this time around. I'm assuming it's just spending more time with family and friends. Obviously, is probably where the direction
Yeah,
you're gonna take with that. Yeah.
yeah.
All right. So let's go on to reflect, kind of compare and reflect a little bit between these two states you were in. So, which state did you enjoy more overall, and why? So, obviously, you only spent a small time out there in Arizona, but was it enough to make you say that you enjoyed it a little bit more than Illinois?
So the thing is, I think we'd actually enjoy it more if we had, like I said, we had some family that moved out with us or already had family out here. Like I said, if we had like a little bit of a support system, there is just so much to offer here because we love being outdoors and hiking and stuff. And so that stuff is those opportunities are endless here. Um, and so like if we had a little bit more time to where we had a little bit more freedom, not as much work. Um, I think Arizona overall would probably be better because, like I said, winters are obviously ten times better out here. I spent Thanksgiving
Oh
and,
yeah, I
and
bet.
Christmas, sitting outside, playing with Cohen and just laying around. Um, but like I said, it's tough. It's like if you take friends and family out of Illinois, then like yeah, like Illinois really isn't that great. Um, so man, so it's tough. I'd say like for opportunities to do stuff, obviously Arizona is definitely better. It's just a lot more expensive to do it as well, though.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. As much as I hate, you know, not hate the heat, but the heat kind of gets to me a lot. Obviously, I've had 4 heat strokes. I really, really hate the snow and the cold. So if I could just go to Arizona for the cold seasons here in Illinois, or even anywhere warm, I think that'd be a huge plus. But what's one
Yeah.
thing you're gonna miss the most about Arizona? I know you kind of talked about the opportunities and stuff out there and things that you had going on as far as all the places you visited, food wise, hiking wise. But what are you gonna miss the most?
I would say hiking, and then like I said, the winters are perfect out here. Only thing that's bad about the winters out here is the amount of people that come and live out here during the winter. So like the snowbirds, the amount of people that come
Oh
in
yeah.
from like there's a ton of people that come in from Canada, like Wisconsin, Michigan, like those type of places. It is so all the restaurants are just swamped. There's a bunch of old people driving around the roads that probably shouldn't be. It is crazy how busy things get in the winter time. So like all the way up until like from like
So I'm
November all the way until probably April. Like the snowbirds are here, and then they all go back north.
So I'm assuming that you probably just answered my next question here is what's one thing you definitely won't miss? Probably the snowbirds coming out there, obviously in the wintertime.
Yeah, that and then just like I said, the cost of living out here is ridiculous. I paid more in rent than I did for uh, my mortgage in Germantown Hills by a large amount. So it's just the cost of living is definitely like the taxes are better, but the cost of living, like a housing and stuff like that, is wild.
Yeah, that's nuts for sure. And you plan on moving back to the same area you were in before you left, correct?
Yeah, so we'll rock it with stay with mom for a little while, and then well the plan would be to get back to around like the Germantown Hills area. That'd be we really enjoyed that area. So
Nice. Well, you made it back in the perfect time. We had a podcast last week where we talked about summer blockbusters, and Casey's not looking forward to this come out, but Jurassic World Rebirth, I'm
oh my
dropping it
god,
again, comes out July 2nd. So, we plan on going to Peoria to see it at one of the AMC theaters. So if you're around and you feel like going, we'll definitely hit you up.
here's the thing. I went and supported you with the last one. You and Josh went to the last one together, and me and Josh both
You know
about
what?
walked out. It was so bad.
I about did too, and I'm a Jurassic Park fan, and I even said it on the last podcast that the last three, the Jurassic World, that whole series, was not a fan. I didn't like
Uh,
them at all, and Dominion was an absolute train wreck. But
mhm.
that's probably why they came out with the new one. They've probably seen how the last one did.
Is Chris
Um,
Pratt still on this one, or is he finally giving
no,
up on it too?
no, Scarlett Johansson. So
Interesting.
Yeah,
Interesting.
whole new cast, whole new cast.
Yeah, I might go
Uh,
watch it with him just because Scarlett Johansson.
yeah. All right, last question I've got for you in this segment here is, what did the time away teach you about yourself? So obviously living away from family for an extended period of time, I'm sure that probably taught you a few things. Anything else that you kind of learned about yourself being away?
Like you said, it definitely um, made me value, like I said, I love my friends and family, but it definitely makes you look at things differently and value those things a lot more. Um, but then I think I learned a lot about me and Tristan learned a lot about ourselves and like what we need to be happy. And it's just like, oh wow, like like I said, not getting going on like on date nights, whatever, to get like some one-on-one time, just me and her. It's like wow, we like our relationship really thrives off of getting that alone time and getting to spend some time, some kid-free times. Like yes, we love our kid to death. Um, it's just but like you know it too. It's just like sometimes it's nice just to get some mom and dad time.
Oh yeah.
So that, and then, like I said, I definitely learned some stuff about like myself as far as like on the work side of things. Is I definitely learned a lot of valuable things and improved on a lot of things while working out here and managing and running a company.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
What the heck was that?
Was that? uh, Man, I don't know where you're at right now. It's probably pretty hot. Hopefully the truck's not breaking down where you're at,
No,
because that did not
don't
sound.
put that on me.
It's just, oh man, 5 minutes later, it's just you guys, doing this podcast on the side of the road. Mechanics working on the truck. Oh man.
No, thank you.
Okay, well, we'll finish up with this last segment here. I've actually got lightning round for you, and it's
Okay.
going to be Arizona or Illinois. So you can tell me which one you would prefer.
Okay.
So you've got the Arizona heat or the Illinois snow, and I feel like I know where this is going.
Arizona Heat for sure.
Arizona heat. All right. Illinois food or Arizona food?
Ooh, like I said earlier, I'd have to split it down the middle. But like if we were just like talking like on like a nice date night or whatever, then I would take Arizona all day long.
Okay. All right. 2 for Arizona, 1 for Illinois. This isn't looking. Oh no, that's none for Illinois. That's two for Arizona. Yikes! And you're coming back to Illinois. Huh. All right. Next one here. Illinois traffic or Arizona traffic? Hopefully, where we
Illinois
live,
traffic's
this should
so
be
much better.
this should be a pretty easy one. Yeah, we're not from the Chicago area, so the Illinois traffic is super nice around here. But desert hikes or cornfield drives?
desert hikes.
Wow. Okay. I mean, not looking too good for Illinois right now. Scorpions in the house or mosquitoes at the barbecue?
Ooh. So I actually,
you?
luckily enough, live.
I've never even seen it.
Yeah, luckily enough, I never even seen a single scorpion. So like we live in a
Okay.
subdivision, so I think I don't know if like the HOA like would spray stuff around like the neighborhood to keep stuff away, but luckily we didn't have any experience with that. So I guess like obviously I would pick that I guess over. Well, actually, my thing I would rather have deal with mosquitoes than having a scorpion in the house.
All right.
That is
So
definitely for sure. So
it's 2 for Illinois and 3 for Arizona. It's close enough. I can say that I can personally say, I know a lot of people back here can say it as well. We're looking forward to having you back here in Illinois, hanging out. Like you said too, getting the kids on play dates and whatnot. But man, you guys got a long, and you're gonna go buy a lot of golf balls for sure, because you will.
You never lose golf balls in Arizona. Well, guess what? According to
You're-
if he goes back, he said he watched the podcast of you. Well,
I see the clip.
he seen the clip of you talking about how you went out to Gold Hills. with
Gold
golf
Hills.
balls,
Yep.
Came back, and then you had to go into the woods and find them because you lost them all. Yeah.
Definitely the worst golfing experience of my life for sure. But last week went to Rushville, shot under 100, so we're going in the right direction.
Rushville's the course.
Things are on the up and up.
Rushville's the course. Maybe
Yeah, I
that's
know.
the first course Mason needs to go to when he gets back.
I need to go to a
yeah,
sicko
I
so I
mean,
don't lose any balls.
yeah. It's been a year. You haven't played with Kodo either. He's become. He's just all about golf. Got to golf simulator, golf cart. He finally shot in the 70s there at Rushville, so I'm just like, oh my gosh, he's going crazy. But I mean, that's his course. That's literally where he plays every single day. He's got a membership there. I think he's in a league out there, so it makes sense, obviously. Casey, I'm going to open this up to you. Do you have any last minute questions you would like to ask Mason before we wrap this up that I maybe didn't hit on? I know, I'm putting you on the spot.
Not. I mean, I have a couple. I don't think I even cracked any of the questions that I was going to ask him. I honestly forgot about a couple of them. That'll probably come up when we're driving.
If only we had
Yeah.
time for them to come up.
If only we had that
Yeah.
time to go over those questions. But no,
Yeah.
no, we're gonna have plenty of time to talk, so I'll leave that to.
Yeah, for sure. Well, like I said, you guys got a long drive ahead of you. I just want to say thanks, Mason. Obviously, I know you're trying to pay attention to the road by answering these questions and being a good sport about all of it. And then Casey, man, I tell you what, you're good on the podcast. You're a great cameraman. I can't ask anything more. You know, did a great job. So
I try. You know, I try to do it all. You know, I like to say I'm a jack of all trades, master of
yeah.
none.
Yeah, you did great. But yeah, we'll go ahead and wrap this podcast up. Thank you guys again for hopping on and doing this short little podcast. But hey, Mason, I'll see you here in a few days.
Absolutely, man. Can't wait.
All right, we'll see you guys.
See ya.
See ya.